Good morning, good evening, or good night, folks. I'm your host, Simon Redhand, and welcome to Gaming Red-Handed. So, we are back in OnceHuman for the final update of the novice server 0003, which I've been playing on since the beginning of the game. I have pretty much finished everything I wanted to do this league before transferring to the new servers. I'm going to be going to the hard mode server. Let's get the exact name of this server here so it's actually here. PvE 01X0007. I would prefer they just ran some of these names through a Google name generator so we didn't have to have these weird numbers for server names, but it is what it is. I went through the entire server using the entire season, I should say, using the ACS 12 corrosion shotgun. I gotta say, I really appreciate this build. I like how it turned out. I do think the damage of it turned out to be great. I was able to do all the pro modes. The damage is pretty decent. My kill time is pretty decent. I had some issues early on in terms of like just dealing with the fire rate and the range, not the fire rate, the range of the gun itself, and getting used to getting close to all these enemies because the bullet fall off was kind of crazy. But once I got the build up and running, I got my mods in place. I really liked how it turned out. The damage is great. My kill speed is great. My only complaint is how fast the weapon breaks, but I'm pretty sure that's due to the game mechanics now that they designed repair and whatnot. Now I'm gonna go through and just show my final stat sheet here, and you see I got some decent damage. My crit rate's 42%. Combined with the gas mask hood, it gets up to about additional 35%. So it goes up to about 80 something percent chance to crit. My crit damage is pretty impressive. What else? Yeah, that's it. As for my secondary, I've been using the Hammerhead Shark. I don't really like this pistol. I didn't want to buy anything else to invest in. I tried using Fortress Warfare as a secondary. I don't like the crossbow. I don't really use weak point damage. I didn't want to stop the flow of my fire, my killing in order to apply a crossbow bolt. And not only that, the last patch did nerf the effectiveness of the crit damage it did give, so I didn't think it was worth it to switch to a crossbow every 10 seconds to find a weak spot to hit just so I can get that buff. So I didn't bother with it. I just didn't bother using my secondary at all. What I instead invested in was I found this mod here, Ruthless Reaper, and I've been using Ruthless Reaper. I do enjoy the fact that after getting 2 kills, it refills 100% of your magazine. And this allowed me to just basically go on rampages. It's a massive DPS increase if you understand the bosses when the ads spawn, and if you know how to time it to get the maximum benefit of your shots here. I was able to kill most ads in like 2-3 hits, maybe 4. So I'd be putting some bullets onto the boss or whatever big elite's coming, kill some of the ad trash that comes by, spread out some of the pellets so I could spread my my power surge to both targets, and it actually became rather effective. On paper, I don't usually like using on kill things, but this thing here I did really enjoy using Ruthless Reaper. For my gas mask hood, I've been using Fatal Strike. It basically disables my weak spot damage, but I can still hit weak spots. It just doesn't give me any bonus damage, and I get critical crit rate 10%, crit damage 30%, and then with this, I've been using my mask. I've been using first electrocution. Well, I actually just got this one. I was using for the lion's share of my grind the Thunderclap mod. After triggering Power Surge 20 times, the next hit summons a Celestial Thunderstrike. This is a mod that right now it's not really the best, but later on when you have 5-star blueprints and like, I imagine this mod is going to be a beast when you actually have high psi intensity. Right now you can't scale it properly. Later on, when you do have your psi intensity up much higher, this will be a very great mod. However, first electrocution is better because you can't apply power surge status. So your corrosion shotgun, every time it hits, it's applying power surge for the first time. So it is a massive damage boost to have first electrocution on. It is just very effective to have this one on. And that's what I was running in my weapon. I mean, in my mask there. My weapon, I was using power surge damage grants 5% power surge trigger chance based on weapons trigger chance. This is not good for most power surge weapons, except the AC-12 is not most power surge weapons that have a 35% chance to trigger. This has a 70% chance to trigger. So using this mod, even though it's additive, It I mean multiplicative, it does give a roughly 82% chance to crit to proc power surge when using this one. So it is very good to use with the ACS 12 because basically it means the majority of your shots are going to be power surge. There are the videos that talk about the fact that this mod is not that good to use on other weapons, and they are correct. So we look through it. The other power surge weapons are Hammerhead Shark, which is actually higher than the ACS 12, but it requires you to hit a weak point for the trigger. This gun's low clip and fire rate, and the fact that it has a super situational weak point trigger for power surge. I don't like this gun. It didn't work out the way I thought it would. The range of the trigger didn't work out the way I thought it would. If you look at the other power surge gun, which is, was it Outer Space? Where's Outer Space at here? Outer Space is the other power surge gun. 25% chance to trigger power surge. This definitely is not a good mod to use Shock Rampage on because this is such a low trigger chance. It would just bring it up to about 30% or so. The other one people like to use is the Outsider. 35% chance. Again, it's another one where the crit chance is just too low. It would bring it up to like 40% or so, but it's still not worth using. So compared to the other power surge weapons, using Shock Rampage on the ACS 12 is a very productive thing to do. It's very effective. Let's go through the other mods I have going on here. So I actually got really lucky. I got this crit. I've been using crit amplifier for my gloves, but the Prime Word blessed me with this double instance one that actually does double resonance mod that does affect my build rather well. These instance mods are the new suffixes they added in with the last patch 1.1. And what this mod does is every time you deal one instance of elemental damage, I gain crit damage plus 3.2%. And then the other resonance mod is deal one instance of weak point damage, you gain elemental damage 0.6%. Now I didn't get lucky with the rolls here, even though it's on the mod. When I upgrade, I didn't get lucky with the procs. It upgraded everything else except that. I would have liked it if I got upgrades on that, but it's still good. Still a great mod. And even though I have this mod on, which is the not this one here, sorry, the mod that disables my weak point damage, I can still hit weak points. So I can still trigger the mod. I just don't get any bonus damage from hitting it. So it doesn't matter. So it does still give me the trigger effect of this mod. So it's still good to stack. It's still worth using, right? So I've been using that, and I've tried to get this resonance on all my gears so you can get that bonus stacking going, right? I haven't, our server, since the server transfers have started, nightmares have basically stopped effectively, but I imagine I'll be able to get them in the next season on the hard modes. On the boots, I've been using the Ruthless Reaper, as I pointed out. I do like the getting 2 additional kills gives you a refill of the ammo. I like that a lot. And what else do we have here? On my chest, I've been switching back and forth between healing fortification and head-on conflict. I don't know how I feel. I mean, both of these are rather effective. I do like that healing fortification gives more damage reduction when you use it, but it's only 2 seconds long, whereas this one is pretty much active as long as you're within close range, but then you have to get hit to trigger the second part of it. I kind of have this one on now just because I ended up, I don't know, I just ended up sticking with this one for now. All right, but I haven't locked on which one I like more than the other way. I just been going back and forth, right? What else do we have here? And then for my pants, I have Deadshot. Each crit hit by non-melee weapon damage grants 5% crit damage up to 45%. The next effect is removed upon reload. This is pretty good for the stacking crit damage. As you can see, I got legendary crit damage on there, so this thing is giving me massive crit damage, right? As you can see here, I shot through my entire magazine, and that mod, I'm getting up, like, you see the crit damage on there when that mod gets going. It's actually pretty good. I do like that mod. I like how it turned out. I did get some decent rolls on it. Let's check it again real quick. I got really lucky with that crit damage on that mod. I would have liked having maybe some life on there, but it is good. I mean, every mod on there is usable. Every mod on there is a decent roll. If I didn't need a secondary legendary on there, it would have been nice. But if I got a legendary on the magazine capacity, but you know what, it's fine. I can't complain about this mod. We can go through some damage tests here. As for accessories, real quick before I do that, I've been using steel ammo for the most part. I had tungsten going, but you know it's very stressful to run tungsten ammo. I'm always low. I'm always in the grind, and I just wrapping up the season, I just wanted to end this, so I just crafted myself like 15,000 bullets for steel and just finished doing all the dungeons, all the season challenges I had left, and just to get out of here. Right, for the accessories, for the muzzle, I've been using the multi-use shotgun suppressor just because it gives you increased range, but I also been going back and forth between the extended break also just because it does give a bit more accuracy without a crazy loss to the other stats, stability, or the range. But I did like having a bit more range, but either one is worth using. I mean, I use both these for the duration of the dungeon. I switch back and forth between them. For the tactics, I just use the compact infrared indicator, but others have used accuracy. I've seen other builds using accuracy. It's not bad. They're both very decent. I just liked having stability because I don't stop firing. I don't like worrying about muzzle climb too much. I don't want to adjust by pulling down and like that on my mouse because my hand has its own little issues there. So I just use this, but I find the lack of barrel climb to be much better. For the magazine, you have no choice. This is bound to the gun. This is what comes with it. This is what you got to use. And for the ammo, I've been using steel ammo for the majority of the game. I use tungsten every now and then when I feel like crafting it, but for the last day or so, I have not felt like going through and gathering and crafting tungsten. So, and I've also shut down my acid farm in the sense that I have not been maintaining it because I'm just wrapping the season up, as I've been saying. I don't think there's anything else to go over. As you can see, I mean, I guess people like doing their one clip rotation to see how much damage it gives. I don't think it's a good measure of anything. I think doing dungeons and being able to maintain time on target is a better measure, but you know, if that matters to you, there's my total DPS. If that's a big deal. It's not really a big deal to me though. There we go. All right. We're averaging about 28k, 30k DPS. Like I said, the time on target, it can't be measured in the training dummy because of the Reaper mod. When there are ads up, I am very good at switching, getting my 2 kills off. I understand my total DPS. I understand how much I need to kill an ad. So I'm very good at shooting a target, the boss, ad comes up, put 2 shots on the boss, go back on the target, and I usually never stop reloading. So measuring my damage by a clip, it's not really helpful because I don't reload a lot when I'm doing boss fights and there's ads around. I'm very good at not having to reload. What else? I think that's it. Since we're here, we can go through and talk about my base. I put up another video talking about the fact that I did end up making my base. I do like this tower setup. It's almost like a king piece or a queen piece on the chessboard, and I do enjoy the fact that it's got a small frame at the bottom here. I hid all my power generators inside the frame, and I like this layout. If we go through real quick, I'll show you guys the layout. Let's go inside here. On the bottom floor here, this is where I have my storage. I have all my favorite fish down here. Basically, I stored up all my fish around here. I had a lot of rare fish that I've gone through. I've done a lot of fishing in this game, not because I liked it, just because I had to feed my bears. And then as I caught any named rare fish and stuff I didn't have, I just put them in a fish tank here. And I decided I'm going to collect them all and put them in this here and make a nice little vault here. On the main floor, this is where I have all my stuff here, all my construction tables here. There's no furniture stuff laid out because all I wanted to do was get the framework of my hideout, and then when the next season comes, I will lay this out, make it nice. I have tables in random spots here just because as I was doing dungeons, I needed to craft, I needed more output, and I didn't want to waste time, so I just made more things just so I could build faster. But when I make my real base and I show it off, it's going to look much clearer than this. This top floor here is my garden and where my deviants are kept. I have my deviants in a nice little cage here. I put everything in there that are required to make sure that they don't have any issues when I put new deviants in here. So I got plants on the top, the planters. I got lights covering everything that they need. I got toys all over the place, so I can just put any deviant in here that I need. and they should have their 3 out of 3. Power is also here. Also, I have it hidden in the walls stuff. What else do we have here? All my planter boxes with my mushrooms working, my rain mans and my watering devices. Because the season's almost ended, I didn't have any more spoiled food, but I would have eventually covered this entire platform with planter boxes. But and then I have the rainwater collectors, but also I have pumps here. This location here, I'm here in this drab area because it is a polluted zone, and it's on the line here where when I did have my pump set up, I could grab polluted water and polluted water and dirty water, so I was able to make acid and normal water here. And this was my acid farm, also my main base. I've got my brother's base across the way there, and it's doing the oil, so we pretty much have everything covered. And the great thing about this area is that it has star trace ore all over the place, and I have the mimetic, the oil refinery mimetic that allowed me to convert star trace ore into stardust, which is one of the main reasons I brought myself here, so I could make use of oil smelter. Right, so because I had old smelter, I was able to really make use of that and come together and supply myself with stardust source. I did a bit of a breeding, not breeding, well, taming. It wasn't that great, so I ended up just doing the 2 bears. These guys are starving because I have no food left for them. They're both at 100%. They got some interesting effects. You know, this one here is gonna give me acidic meat if I end up killing him, recover 2% HP per second while in combat, and when its HP falls below 30%, gain invincibility for 5 seconds. These are all pretty cool. However, I did a prime war and it didn't help me at all. So he didn't fight, he didn't do anything. I tried setting his settings, nothing happened. My second bear is at 92%, and it's got Storm Child, which gives you Power Surge and Rain, which is so hyper specific that it's almost useless. Killing small chance that meat obtained from killing animals will be rare. Reduces energy and hydration, so it doesn't eat as much. But there's nothing here that's really impressive. Like I'm gonna show you when you go to skin him, it's gonna tell you what you get when you skin him, and it's gonna show like he's got some special meat there when you go to harvest. Right, I'm not gonna actually harvest him, but like this one's gonna give acid. We'll see how much he gives actually. You want the server's over. I'm gonna get out of here anyway. We'll see how much acid he actually gives. And then the other one gets pristine meat, right? 30 acid, 15 raw, 18 meat. It took me 3 days to get this guy to 100%. I promise you it is not worth doing that at all. Right? This one's gonna get pristine meat. I cannot tell you what pristine meat is for, but I can tell you that it's most likely not worth raising your bear and then slaughtering it for 4 pieces of pristine meat after taking a day and 3 days to do it. Right, let me go to the machine real quick and see what I can cook with pristine meat. Let's see here. Anything here? What takes meat? Preserved deviated chops. Can I put pristine meat in there? Does it show up? It doesn't even show up on the list. What do I do with pristine meat? Let's see. The canned meat. Can I put pristine meat in there? Negative. Is there a legendary recipe that requires meat? Stargaze pie. Does that require meat? Nope. Honey glazed meat does. Can I use pristine meat? Yes, I can. What does pristine meat do? This pristine bear meat only comes from bears raised by people. And perfectly, I can't even read it there. It keeps going away. Well, let me try to find it. This pristine bear meat only comes from bears raised by people. While perfectly safe to enjoy raw, this meat truly shines when cooked. So, I've only found one recipe that actually lets me supplement pristine bear meat. Can I put it in here? Negative. So you need a legendary recipe to put it in to substitute it with. And does it do anything? Does it change the recipe at all? Oh, it does. Let's see. So the normal recipe with I've never made this hamburger before. With deer meat is 15% max HP. With pristine meat, it switches, so it's max stamina. And then with pristine meat, where's the pristine meat go? With normal bear meat, it gives HP plus 100. Where's the pristine meat? And then pristine meat gives max HP plus 15%, dish bonus effect plus 20% magnitude. Okay, so it gives you max HP and it increases the dish's effect an additional 20%. So that dish effect magnitude would be talking about, I guess this is the one hit logging trick I would do for this, but what meat items could you do it with? This one needs fish. What meat items would you possibly consider doing this with? Maybe, no. Sadie sandwich, no. Bowl cookies, German soup, nope. Really, the only meat thing you can do is honey glazed meat, which increase crit chance. I guess I would technically use this. Actually, I can't because it's with Frost Vortex. So, but this is the only recipe you can use pristine meat with, right? So, and then when you use the pristine meat with it, it's gonna give you the HP and then 20% duration. So I guess if you have this and you have the meat, then I guess it's decent. It takes a very long time to get your bears to 100% to do that, to slaughter them to do that with. So I guess it doesn't seem that interesting to me. I will probably do the bare minimum of taming in the next season. What that means is I'll probably capture some S class bears later on, like very later on in the season, put in my base, automate them somewhat by putting a bunch of water and bear feed into the trough, and then I'm going to ignore them. And then I'm just going to have them ready. So when they do improve the taming, I've already have some S ranks ready to go. Other than that, I'm not going to be harvesting them. I'm not going to be growing them to cut them down because I don't think it's even worth the effort of maintaining that food. The same way I don't think it's worth the effort to maintain AP ammo. So my thoughts on the season so far. I do really enjoy this game. I actually enjoy this game as much as I like Path of Exile. There are some aspects of the game that I could do away with, starting with this wish machine. I completely hate everything about this wish machine. I don't like gambling. I don't appreciate oranging parts. I don't like Starcrom. I don't mind Starcrom. I just don't like this. There's only one aspect of Starcrom I don't like, and it's this. I don't like the weekly purification because you can miss this if you get busy, and I do have a lot of work. There's days where I work so much I cannot even get on to log on. So it does irk me some when that time happens and I can't get on to farm the level 3 cortexes in order to get the maximum yield from this. So I'm forced to either waste cortexes or, worse yet, not even do the purification at all. My first 2 weeks of playing, I was not able to do the purification. One, because the first week I didn't know what it was, and then the second week I just didn't have enough cortexes to do it properly. And so the third week was the first time I actually did a full purification. And then it just made me realize, oh, I'm missing 8,000 Starcrom, which is an entire blueprint, you know? So I don't like Starcrom. I really enjoy doing bosses and dungeon fights, so I've been liking farming the bosses, and I like farming in dungeons. However, there's 2 dungeons I don't like, which is the Forgotten Monolith, which my base is right beside. Forsaken Monolith, I'm sorry. I like the Forsaken Giant. I think everything about that fight is very cool in terms of the presentation and the backstory and the emotion that opening cinematic evokes. If you haven't seen it, you should probably watch it all the way through. However, I do not like the fact that this boss is completely scripted. You cannot overwhelm this boss. You cannot DPS burst it down. You have to go through the motions, and this boss is one of the longest, most drawn out boss fights in the game. I like doing this boss. I have to do this boss because it does drop mods I need, but I can do this boss once a week maybe. It's just so long and so boring because of the way the mechanics work. You cannot overwhelm this thing. It reduces your damage when the next phase starts. It takes minimum 20 minutes to do this boss every time you do it, and that becomes stale and tired. The next dungeon that I don't really like too much is the Leah Labs, and that's because the Leah Labs is a torture gauntlet. I was able to finish Leah Labs. I do not like how many ads spawn. I don't like the incessant rate they come at. I don't like that they don't stop. There's so much things about this I don't like doing it. And then you go do it and you get the grab bag of everything is included in this dungeon. So it is. Well, I appreciate where they're going. I like the mechanics. I like that they're trying to do mechanics. They're trying to be interesting with it because a lot of games today, they neglect the fact that dungeons are supposed to be hard and intricate. I just don't find ad waves to be hard. And I think what really bothers me about the Leia dungeon is the fact that you run through durability so fast. I have to go out of my way to farm the the artisan's hand because I needed his repair materials so badly. Because if I wasn't getting them, I couldn't make his repair kits. Because I have to repair my shotgun like once a boss fight when I'm doing that last wave, because of the amount of ads that are coming. The durability is so low that if I didn't have the all-purpose hand in my inventory, I would literally end up with a broken weapon halfway through the run. And that's why I don't like labs. There's no, I couldn't find a good way of setting the pace where you stop these ads from coming. So you just feel like ads are constantly coming at you over and over again. But it did force me to start using more of the tactical items. I grow a new appreciation for things like the projection generator. I've been using a lot of these ever since. What these do is they're a portable device that it's a portable device that creates a replica of your character, and it taunts everything when it is spawned. And this thing, the taunt is magnificent for boss fights, for trash, whatever. It comes out, it starts shooting at things for you, and then your enemies start targeting it, and they start shooting this thing, and it takes all the aggro off you, and you can focus on dumping magazines, rezzing a friend if you got to, whatever you need to do. I've been using it a lot. The smoke grenade also is pretty cool. The smoke grenade, when they're inside of it, they kind of stand around and look around. It's almost like they're in a neutral state where they haven't even aggroed you yet. It's very good on boss fights also. And that's really it. Oh, the drone. My brother unlocked the drone commander thing. I've been using the drone a lot too. The fact that we have 6 uses on each drone is very cool. I do enjoy the drones. I definitely will be looking for a way to get drones back into my build next league. I really like using this mechanic. I kind of wish they were an actual class skill and not a meta you have to find. But you know, beggars can't be choosers. If I had it my way, I would love the ability to choose different types of drone. When you're playing the game, you have the drones that shock and stun. That'd be kind of cool. Maybe a shotgun drone, maybe a drone that shoots some kind of elemental damage, sets people on fire. This drone here, what it does is it marks targets, so that's pretty useful. So I do enjoy it. I really enjoy using the drone. I probably will use it next season. What else do I got to cover? I think that's it for the most part. You know, I'm really enjoying the game. I'm going to be transferred to the next server. I don't know how much I can keep, but I plan on spending as much as my season tokens as I can. Not my tokens, my controllers as I can. I might do a couple more dungeons just to get my controller count down, because I do have quite a bit of controllers left. Right, and I know you can bring them over, but I don't want to spend, I don't know how much of my points I want to spend on controllers, but I will be bringing over a great deal of them, because they're your currency that I don't think is a good idea to leave behind. I'm also going to be locking down my artisan's hand, because that thing was a pain in the butt to farm. I was debating if I should bring over Rain Man, but I probably won't bring over Rain Man. And if I can, I'm going to bring over one of the electric drill and the logging drill, just to speed up the early game farming, because early game farming sucks. I think that's going to be it for now though, guys. You guys can follow me along. If you guys enjoy my content, like the videos, subscribe, leave a comment down below. That helps the channel immensely. I'm going to be doing the hard mode servers. I know it on paper it doesn't sound good. I like that it gives increased star cron, but everything else about the hard mode servers sounds terrible, especially the increased food and drink management. But I'm still going to be doing it anyway, because I think the game needs to be more challenging. I think the current novice season is way too easy. I think the devs underestimate how good players can become if they are given the need to rise to the occasion. People who have played Leia Labs in a pug group would probably disagree, because it is a miserable experience, because most people cannot follow instructions. But that's neither here nor there. That's where I'm going to be going forward, is the hard mode server 0007. I believe that was what it was. You guys can find me there. As always, I appreciate you guys for giving me your time. Have yourselves a good morning. And if this is the only video you're watching me today, a good afternoon or good night.